Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hayne. Cadet Bone Spurs over here has been on a media rampage and deflection tour following his despicable and vile exploitation of the fallen at Arlington Cemetery. Of course, he first blamed the employee there, the one who was pushed by his psychotic brand of maggot thugs. Then he actually blamed and said, maybe it was the Gold Star family who did. To now basically blaming Kamala Harris. Yes, I guess at least he's no longer blaming Obama. Remember, it was Obama's fault for everything? Anyway, this has reached a tipping point now because the late Senator John McCain's son, who basically has, like most normal classic Republicans who, just used to have a difference of opinion over the size and scope of government and some social programs, has long since given up on the Republican Party since it's now the Trumplican Party. And he has come out in full force renouncing Donald Trump's disgusting and vile political exploitation of a fallen at Arlington Cemetery. Let's hear what he had to say on CNN.
Withdrawal, unquote. My next guest comes from a big name in Republican politics. He does not make public appearances, but he is speaking out now because of what happened last week. I want to bring in Jim McCain. He is the youngest son of the late Republican Senator John McCain. He is also an Army intelligence officer who served previously as a U.S. Marine. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us why you called Trump's visit to Arlington a violation.
Thank you for having me, sir. Well, as you well know, sir, Arlington Cemetery is sacred to all people who have all people who are members of the military, all people who have served in the uniform. It's a sacred area. There's 3 generations of McCains that are buried there. It's
3 generations of service in that family. They're basically like Lieutenant Dan's family from Forrest Gump. Now, let me see how many people in Trump's crime family have served. I'll give you a clue. It rhymes with Nero. Well, what can I say? I'm too busy fighting my booger sugar addiction.
It's a violation because these rules are set in place. The people who are buried there don't have an opinion. The point of Arlington Cemetery is to go and show respect for the men and women who have given their lives to this country. When you make it political, you take away the respect of the people who are there.
Dignity, respect, those are just woke words created by the deep state.
Actually, Jim McCain just got back apparently from a tour in Jordan, so he spoke even further on why what Trump did was so disgustingly offensive.
So you're recently back from a 7-month deployment to Tower 22 in Jordan. That's near the border with Syria. 3 U.S. soldiers were killed there just this past January. This idea of a sacred space and grieving families, it's not just theoretical for you.
Yes, sir. I mean, I was not personally at Tower 22 when that attack happened, but after being directly on the ground right after, I understand the pain that we saw there, the young men and women who are serving there and what they went through. Once again, it's a solemn thing. These young people are taking time out of their lives when they could be bettering themselves, college, things like that. And they're joining the military because they feel it's the right thing. And the least we can do is when they're gone, when they're in Arlington, is to respect the rules and regulations that are in place, like not politicizing the fact that these men and women are there. Go, show respect. I understand that he was invited. Show respect and leave. It doesn't need to be videoed.
Now, there is a difference between
"Who cares, whiny Jim? You're such a crybaby." Meanwhile, Trump was serving his country and fighting off STDs and kicking African Americans out of apartments.
Because I'm old enough, I remember in 1999 when your dad, Senator John McCain, had campaign video that showed him walking through the cemetery. But after it was pointed out that some people thought that it was inappropriate, your dad called it a very bad mistake and apologized for it. If Donald Trump apologized for it and called it a mistake, would he earn any points back with you? Again, I recognize it's not the exact same thing, but I'm just wondering Because this really seems to have bothered you that Mr. Trump did this.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing about, John McCain, you don't spend that long in politics without messing up once or twice. So, and the main point is that he pulled it down and he understood the solemn, sanctified nature of Arlington National Cemetery. So if Donald Trump pulled it down and apologized, I mean, it would be the right thing to do. But look at his history towards veterans. Look, at this point, I don't know what else he has to do, The answer is no.
Yeah. So, I mean, this has been...
Well, of course your father, the late Senator John McCain, apologized for that because he was the last legitimate Republican who actually had principles. When John McCain went, so did the Republican Party. Jim McCain spoke a little bit further about how disgraceful and disgusting Trump is and why no veteran should support him at all and why lots of the military rank aren't. The horrific comment was brought up about, how he called his father, a sucker because he was caught. And then the issue of Jim McCain's political evolution, how he was Republican, then independent, and now basically a Democrat. Let's take a look at that.
It may have started, actually, when he said that your dad wasn't a war hero because he was captured. That was back in 2015. And then there are all the other things that he has said and done, including what his former Marine General and Chief of Staff John Kelly said, that he said behind closed doors, and suckers, losers, etc. You were a political independent for years, and you just recently registered as a Democrat. Why the switch, and how much of you moving not into the Republican Party, but starting as an independent and now moving to the Democratic Party, how much of that is because of Trump and his effect on the Republican Party and his attitude towards veterans?
I mean, to begin, what Trump said about my father is irreprehensible. I mean, it's, I've never forgotten it. And, to remind everyone, John McCain was my father as well. And, he was the guy I went to when I skinned my knee, So to hear those things said about him, I could never forgive. The one thing about John McCain is that he cared about his country and he lived his life that way. So as we moved on, and I was gone for a year, so I didn't have a chance to change. But as soon as I was back, I see, I care about my family. I care about equal rights of everyone in this country. I care about all this. And, as much as I stayed as an independent, I decided that, it was time to move on and do what I believe in. The fact of the matter that he said it constantly is country first. You have to think about your country first. However that is, care about your country. Care about how making it better, not being divided, but being together as one to continue to be the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, just as a factual matter, I mean, you're...
Insightful words. And that is the key word right there. Country first. And that's actually what the late Senator John McCain did. Now, I disagreed on him on many an issue. I was working on the Obama campaign. I actually recall election night, I was in New York doing stand-up at an election night party, and I remember when Barack Obama was declared the winner, and what a glorious moment that was. But what's even better is the guy who was running against him, the Republican running against him, not only conceded, but he did so with humility and decency. That's right. And that's why I say the Republican Party died with John McCain. Anyway, I am Michael Hayne. This is Really American. If you like our content, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my latest TikTok at Mike Hayne Comedian. Talk to you later.